It is under proportions. I really think we talked about this. I think I jumped the gun on this proportion thing and we talked about it a little bit before. Let's say we've got, I don't know, one, two, problem here. I'm sure we talked about this. 8 over 12 equals 12 over 10. If you're making equal fractions, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing you want to think about is to do it the easiest way possible, right, Charles? That's just the way we work as human beings. And you want to think, well, how do I go from 8 to 12? What do I multiply 8 by to get 12? Well, there is something, some of you probably know what it is, but it's not really easy to work with. So right now you'd say, well, that doesn't really work. Your second thought would be to reduce this if you could and see if that works. Well, if I reduce this, I get 4 over, well, I guess I could reduce it to 2 over, what, 3? And then does that work? 2 times what is 12? 6. 3 times 6 is 18. However, you are going to run into times when that won't work either. Okay, so you've got option number 3, and the reason we don't use option 3 as much is because it just takes a lot more work. But I'm going to do this in option 3 way so you see it. We've talked about this before. If you do not know how to get this W by making equal fractions like that, you do what we call, you solve by cross products. Please don't get this confused with cross canceling. Okay, you cannot cross cancel with equal fractions. I can't cross these 12 out. It's only when I multiply fractions that I cross cancel. This is cross products, and the word product means multiplying. So what that means is this. Basically, you take the products, you multiply the diagonals, and set them equal to each other. And you make equal to each other. And that simply means you do this. Now this is an easy one. I'm going to show you that. You multiply this times this. I try to do the one with the letter first because I like my letters on the left side. So 8 times W has to equal what 12 times 12 is. Which would give me 8W equals 144. How do I solve this equation? Somebody? 8 times W, what's the opposite of multiplication? You divide by 8, divide by 8. And if you divide 144 by 8, you are going to get 18. Take my word for it. Okay? So that's the deal there. Now let me give you one where you have to use option number 3. Like I said, if you can reduce and do that whole thing, please do it. It's a lot easier. You're going to make fewer mistakes if that's the case. But if you run across a problem that looks like this, 0.8 over z equals 5 over 1.5. How many of you can tell me the answer to that just by looking at it or making equal fractions? Aiden, you got an answer for this?
No.
No. So in a case like this, you are forced to use cross products. I mean, there's really not another option for you. And it's not that difficult. You multiply the diagonal. 5 times z has to equal 0.8 times 1.5. And there's some tough multiplication to do there, but let's do it. What is 1.5 times 0.8? You get 40, you get 12. 1.2, correct? Somebody's with me on that. And that equals 5. And then how am I going to solve it? Again, it is a division problem, opposite of multiplication. So you're going to take 1.2, divide it by 5, and you will get 0.24. You have really no other option but to do it that way. Kind of good with that? Sure you are. Now, unfortunately, the book, I don't know why they do this, but they do. I gotta find my right thing. Do I have some notes here? I'm going to give you a piece of paper here for the next thing we're going to talk about, which is slope. I will give you the paper so you won't need it. Put this up on the big board though. Under slope. Welcome to the world of upper level mathematics. Slope is a big hitter in the world of upper level math. You will use slope for the next 12 years of your life. Math people will talk about slope with you. And you will need to know what the deal with slope is. Some of you maybe have heard the word before. When you go skiing, you hit the slopes. What does that mean? You're going up and down these angle things here. Did I? Yeah. I don't think I copied all of my thing. Did I miss part of my thing? Part of it's gone, isn't it? Let's try this again. Let's try this again. So here's your little piece of paper for go. Wait. Sorry. I'll give you that guy. Here is the deal with slope. Here is the deal with slope. And you can jot this over here. The book, these notes kind of tell you what slope is. Slope, ladies and gentlemen, there's a whole bunch of different ways to talk about it or think about it, but basically it's nothing more than kind of the angle you're going up or down. You're either going uphill or downhill. Okay? And it is always from, so you don't get confused, you're always talking, when you talk uphill and downhill, you're always talking from left to right. Okay? Uphill or downhill. Notice there's no such thing as uphill skiing because it doesn't work. Okay? Skis will not take you uphill. Okay? Uphill slope is what we call positive slope. Okay? Downhill slope, going from left to right, is negative slope. And that's important to know because we need to know whether the slope is positive or negative. And the way that we measure slope is right here. They write it out for you here. Slope is the rise, which is how far up, over the run, which is how far over the thing goes. Okay. Well, you won't go there. Okay. And what you must do, they show you, I'm going to blow this up in big form here. Not quite that big form. What you have to do here, and you will always be given a grid to help you figure out slope. Okay. What you need to do is with your grid, you make a right triangle. You have to find 2 points on that line that fall on the graph. Okay, you have to find an intersection. See how this line crosses? Oops, I don't like that. See how this crosses at an intersection? I can name this point on my grid, and I can name this point on that grid. From there, I make a right triangle, and it could be over like this too if you want, but they made it like this. Here is my right triangle that I made. I should probably darken it in some sort of flavor color. Okay, so to find the slope, you want to, number one, make a right triangle. Make a right triangle. Step number 2, think about the fraction, rise over run, or just put up over over. And you look at this triangle and you say, how tall is my triangle? How far does it go up? From here to here is how far up? 1, 2, 3. It has a rise of 3. How far wide? How far over does the triangle go? 1, 2. the slope of this triangle is 3/2 or 3/2. Okay? And you must, okay, it's not a given, it doesn't tell you whether it's positive or negative slope. You have to look at it and say, am I going uphill, is it positive, or am I going downhill? It's uphill, so it's positive. You don't have to write the positive down because if there's no sign there, it's automatically assumed it's a positive. Okay, that is slope. Now let's look at a couple. Did they give me another one? No. Yeah, you see, and it doesn't matter where you make the triangle. You can make it down here because there's 2 points on there. You could make it a huge triangle. You'll still get the same answer. Oh, let's go down here. Let's go down to the one thing about it. Did this just get bigger? Let's go to your other ones here. Right over here. Here they are. Let's look at line. Let's look at line A. Where is line A? Line A is the blue one. And jot that down. Line A. Let's go with a different color. How about hot pink? Line A. First of all, is it positive slope or negative slope? The blue line, is it going uphill or downhill? Positive slope, so you might as well put that down there. And we are going to make a fraction. You have to come over here and look for two places where that crosses an x and y coordinate. You can't, ladies and gentlemen, you can't pick this as one. Well, yes, it hits one of these vertical lines, but there's no horizontal line to it, so you couldn't count the squares. So you have to pick a point that is on both, like right here. See how it's a coordinate? You could call this coordinate -2, whatever that was, -1. And then there's another one here. You can make these your 2 points that you're going to use, and you make a right triangle out of it. And it doesn't matter which way you make the triangle. I can go over like this and straight up and make my right angle here and call this my triangle. I could go up here and go over there. It's going to be the same dimensions. And then you just fill in the blanks. How tall is my triangle? It's only one unit high. How wide is my triangle from here to here? It is, somebody? Two spaces over. So the slope of line A has a slope of +1/2. +1/2. We should just use the colors they use. How about line number C? Line C. All right. Might as well. We need to find 2 points on line C. Well, first of all, is it going uphill or downhill? So this one's going to be negative slope. Now, in fact, if you were skiing that slope there, you'd end up going mighty fast. It's a pretty steep downhill slope. All right. We need to find 2 points on the line. I can use this again as one. Let's go up just for fun. Where does it look like the next place it crosses? Looks like right here. So I got 2 points. I make my right triangle go over and down. Here's my triangle. How high is my triangle?
2.
It's 2 units high. Oops, that wasn't my fraction line, that was my negative sign. It's 2 units high. How wide is the triangle? Just 1. It has a slope of -2. By the way, in math, slope, for some reason we use the letter L. That's neither here nor there. You right now tell me what you think the slope of line B is. What is the slope of line B? It doesn't really take that long to figure out if we get rid of that. B slope equals, tell me what you think the slope of line B is. The slope of line B. What is the slope of line B? Aiden is going to say it is.
2/1.
Aiden says 2/1. Everybody else on that wagon? Now I'm going to show you. Show you that it doesn't matter as long as you pick 2 points. It doesn't matter what 2 you pick. I am going to pick this point, and I'm going to go all the way to the top and pick this point, and I'm going to make my triangle that. So here's my triangle I make. I go over and I go down. Here's my right triangle. Let's color it in just because this is so much fun. Here's my big triangle I made. You probably want to make the smallest one possible, but let's just do this just for fun. All right, first of all, it's going uphill, so it's going to be positive slope. How high is my triangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 high. How wide is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you reduce it, what you end up with? 2 over 1. So I agree. It's a positive 2 slope. Positive 2 slope. Did I do that wrong? Did I do that wrong, Rick? Did I do that right? Am I good with that? There, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your introduction of slope. Your lives will forever never be changed again. I like it. I like it a lot.